Chag Sameach. Welcome to our Simchat Torah service. We're so happy to see lots of you inside of Zoom with us. If you are currently joining us on live stream, we want to invite you to log off and actually join us inside of the Zoom room so we can have a more personal experience. We're going to get joyful this evening. It's Simchat Torah. Hopefully we are ready to rejoice and have fun. And we are using our Siddur Lev Shalem. We're beginning the service with Baruch Hu. We'll invite you to rise, page 39a.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai Vorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Uma'avir yom u'mevi laila, mavdil ben yom u'ven laila, Adonai tzvot shemo, El chayai v'chayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. And we continue on page 41 with Kihem Chayenu. Kihem Chayenu, Ve'orech Yameinu, U'bahem Negeyom Ha'layla. 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 Ve'avatecha al tasir mimenu la'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael.
We'll join together in the Shema, page 41.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lebavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadevarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'b'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam Amezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. Leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet.
We'll turn now to Mi Chamocha on page 44.
Baruch atah Adonai ka'al Yisrael. We'll join together in Ufros Aleinu, the third line from the end, page 45. Ufros Aleinu.
Because it's a festival, we'll add a special line to our liturgy on page 46, not the Shabbat paragraph, but right afterwards where it says on festivals, and then we'll continue afterwards with Chatzi Kaddish.
V'yidaber Moshe Mo'adei Adonai el bnei Yisrael. Yitkada ve'yitkada shemei Rabbah ve'amad yivrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yom echon v'chayedecho beit Yisrael v'agana v'agana u'bizman karib imeru amen yehi shmei Rabbah mevorav le'olam me'amaya yitbarach Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitramam ve'yitnaseh ve'yithadar ve'yitaleh ve'yithalal shemei kedusha berichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushechata v'nechemata damiran ve'alma ve'imru amen.
We'll take some time now for the Amidah, so we'll invite you to rise, The Amidah can be found from page 306 to 314. And don't forget those special insertions for Simchat Torah. And feel free to pray in Hebrew or English, or just use this time for your own personal prayers from the heart.
Shalom bimroma, Booyah, shalom aleinu, Be'achot Yisrael, Be'achot Yoshvei Tekiva, Be'imru, Amen.
Turn now to Kaddish Shalem, page 54.
Yitkara v'ikra shenei rabah, v'yamadi vrachim v'yam lech malchutei b'chayachon v'yamachon v'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kariv v'immeru, amen. Yehei shmei rabah mevarach, le'alam lamei amaya yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishvach v'yitpar v'yitman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah v'rich u'le'elam min kol bravata v'shirata tushbachata v'nekmata damiran be'alam ha'v'yimmeru, amen. Titkabal slotonu v'ton d'cho Yisrael kodam v'hon d'vishmaya v'yimmeru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya V'chayim aleinu v'yelkol Yisrael ve'imeru, amen. Oseh shalom bimrama, Booyah shalom aleinu v'yelkol Yisrael ve'imeru, amen.
What really makes Simchat Torah special is that even in our evening service, we open the ark, we take the Torahs out, we do some dancing with the Torahs if we weren't on Zoom, and we read from the Torah. So we're going to do something a little bit creative instead of taking the Torahs out of the ark. But first, we'll hear Vayehi bin Soa on page 403, and you can imagine us removing Torahs from the ark at this point.
Vayehi bin Soa ha'aron vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai v'yafutzu oyevecha v'yanusu b'sanecha mipanecha ki mitzion tetzeh Torah ki mitzion tetzeh Torah u'devar Adonai v'Yerushalayim avarachamim eitiva v'rtzonecha et Zion tibenei chomot Yerushalayim tibenei chomot Yerushalayim ki v'chad batachnu melech Ram v'nisa Adon olamim.
When we dance with the Torahs on Simchat Torah, what we're doing is celebrating something that is so important to us, so precious to us, something that we cherish. So what we'd like for you to do now in your own homes, take a little tour of your home and find something, an object that either reminds you of Torah or Judaism, makes you feel close to Torah or Judaism, or an object that you just cherish in general, something that brings you close in some particular way. We're going to take a few minutes for you to take this tour of your home and bring back the object. We might even have some people share a little later on if you're willing to. So go grab that object, and Chazan Stein is going to play some music for us in the background.
Dance, dance, dance with the Torah. Dance, dance, dance with the Torah. Dance, dance, dance with the Torah. Dance with the Torah and stop. Jump, jump, jump with the Torah. Jump, jump, jump with the Torah. Jump, jump, jump with the Torah. Jump with the Torah and stop. On this holiday, we sing, we dance, we play. All the love for the Torah in our heart will never ever stop. Dance, dance, dance with the Torah. Dance, dance, dance with the Torah. Dance, dance, dance with the Torah. Dance with the Torah and stop. Yisrael, Yisrael, ve'oraita chadhu. Yisrael, Yisrael, ve'oraita chadhu. Ayay Torah, ora, Torah, ora, hallelujah. Torah, ora, Torah, ora, hallelujah. Torah, ora, Torah, ora, hallelujah. Torah, ora, Torah, ora, hallelujah.
All right, so I see a lot of you holding up your objects already, which is great, because what we're going to do is allow people to share in between our hakafot. So if we were in person, we would do 7 hakafot where we would dance with the Torah to different songs. And Chazan Stein is still going to sing the hakafot, and in between, we're going to have somebody share the object that they brought. I also should mention, if you have a plush Torah at home, like I see Lori Schlisman has and Chazan Mimi have that they're holding up, that's great too. It's even closer to the Torah. So I see lots of you holding up objects. That's awesome. And I'm going to start calling on people in just a moment. But first, we will hear the very first hakafa. You can find these and follow along on page 404.
Ana Adonai Hoshiana, Ana Adonai Hatzlichana, Ana Adonai Anenu Veyom Koreinu, Ay 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 Anenu Anenu Veyom Koreinu, Ay ay Anenu Anenu Veyom Koreinu.
I saw some great dancing with your Torah objects, your cherished objects. Who would like to be first? You can raise your hand if you want to share with us your object and why you chose it. I see Stan Schroeder.
You can hear me? Okay. I have Etz Chaim. I have the stone Tanakh. And I have a book that we use every Shabbat. It's called A Year with Mordecai Kaplan, The Wisdom of the Weekly Torah Portion by Rabbi Stephen Rubin, who was a rabbi at the Reconstructionist synagogue in Pacific Palisades for many years. And they're all dear to me, as you are.
Beautiful. You have a lot of Torah objects there. You're going to need a lot of arms for dancing with all those objects during our hakafot. I love it. All right, we're going to hear the second hakafa now, page 404.
Dover tzedakot Hoshiana, Hador vilshusho Hatzlichana, V'tichasid Anenu V'yom Koreinu, Ay 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 Anenu Anenu V'yom Koreinu, Oh yodludle yodludle yodle yodle.
All right, who would like to share their object for the second hakafa? Rick Schillender.
This is a Torah, a small one, albeit, but this was my father-in-law's, who passed this on when he moved into assisted living.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And it's a perfect Torah to dance with during the hakafot. We'll hear the third hakafa now at the top of page 404 on the left side now.
Zach ve'ashar Hoshiana, Chomel dalim hatzlichana, Tov u'mativ anenu ve'yom koreinu, Ay 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 anenu anenu ve'yom koreinu, B'ru 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 da 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 ba b'ru b'ru ba ba.
All right, who would like to share their object for the third Aliyah? Lori Schlisman.
This is actually my grandson Jacob's stuffed Torah that he brought with him when we had Simchat Torah 2 years ago in person. So it's special.
Beautiful. It's soaking up all the Simchat Torah memories.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the fourth hakafa can be found in the middle of the left side of page 404.
יודע מחשבות הושיענה, וכקיר ונור האור הצליחנה, לובי צדקות עננו ויום קוראנו, איי 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 עננו עננו ויום קוראנו, עננו עננו ויום קוראנו.
All right, I think the dancing is getting more and more enthusiastic with each hakafa, which is awesome. Who would like to share for the fourth hakafa? Bob Epstein.
So when Tori and I went on our honeymoon. Josh, our son, was happened to be celebrating his 7th birthday while we were gone. I asked him what he wanted from Israel, which is where we went. And he said, I want a Torah. So we brought him back this Torah with his name engraved, as well as the date of his birthday, his 7th birthday. So it's kind of a cool thing.
Very cool. All right. Another real Torah to be dancing with. All right. The 5th hakafa, top of page 405.
Melech olamim, Hoshiana, Naor va'adir, Hatzlichana, Somech noflim, Anenu, Ve'yom koreinu, Ay, 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 Anenu, Anenu, Ve'yom koreinu.
All right. Who would like to share for the 5th hakafa? Judy.
Hi, this little tiny book here was my father's when he was a soldier during World War II. It's entitled Readings from the Holy Scriptures for Jewish Soldiers and Sailors, and it was printed in 1942.
Wow, that is incredible. Very cool object to dance with on Simchat Torah. All right, the 6th hakafa on page 405, bottom of the right side.
Ozer dalim, Hoshiana, Bodeh umatzil, Hatzlichana, Tzur olamim, Anenu ve'yom koreinu, Ay, 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 Anenu, Anenu ve'yom koreinu, Anenu, Anenu ve'yom koreinu.
All right, who would like to share for the 6th hakafa? Leslie Schillender.
In lieu of my dad's Torah, which Rick has downstairs, I have my Bat Mitzvah prayer book, Hebrew Union prayer book from 1966.
Awesome. Very, very cool. All right, the 7th hakafa, page 405 on the left side.
Kadosh v'norah, Hoshiana, Rachum v'chanun, Hatzlichana, Shomer habarit, Anenu, Ve'yom koreinu, Ay, 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 Anenu, Anenu, Ve'yom koreinu, Anenu, Anenu, Ve'yom koreinu.
Who would like to share what object they're holding for the 7th hakafa? I've seen people dancing with objects, but you don't have to share if you don't want to. Well, the clergy have been dancing with objects as well. So if it's on Mimi, I'll let you share yours.
This actually is a real Torah. It has no vowels. It was given to me when I concluded my tour as an education director. And so I love this because I could actually read Torah from this, but I don't. But it's just a special object. You can see it's encased in lucite and you can't really see it, but it's at the 10 Commandments currently.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Thanks everyone for having your objects and dancing with them during the Hakafot. Rabbi Vogel, we're going to turn it over to you.
Me? Is it Torah time? Very
Torah
nice.
time.
So we're going to be reading the beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning. I think it's the beginning of the end, which we will conclude with tomorrow morning. And I was reading it over again because we don't get to read this too often, right, Rabbi Galko? We just really, and by the way, on Simchat Torah, who really wants, to listen to real Devar Torah, the real Torah? We're busy with Bob's Hetrog Batka, and we got everything else on our mind and all kinds of snacks. But chapter 34, which we will read tomorrow, So I want to share a little bit. It's just so magnificent. Moses went up from the steppes of Moab to Mount Nebo, the summit of Pisgah opposite Jericho. The Lord showed him the whole land. It's interesting that it was not that he just looked out, but somehow Moses in the previous chapter, we're going to read some of that, the blessings that Moses provides for people to the different tribes. But here, right, it says God actually showed Moses the land from one end to another. And there's some midrashim that say they kind of hovered over for a while to be able to see everything and be able to see where his children and the tribes are going to settle into the land. And it's just a beautiful setting. He dies, by the way, at 120 with undimmed eyes, apparently in perfect health. The idea was that Moses's life has come to an end, and yet there now is a transition, right? The idea we don't deify Moses, but rather, like all flesh and blood, he's going to pass away. And it's the life of the people that embodies Judaism, not any one individual. So these are the beautiful parts of what we're going to read a little bit more tomorrow. And tonight, we're going to have 3 aliyot. We're going to be able to follow on page 1202. If you have Eitz Chaim, we know that Stan has one at home. Or you can cover on about 3 different books right there. And so we're going to be honored the first Aliyah. We're going to have, it'll be, our Torah readers this evening, by the way, will be Bob Epstein, Meredith Jacobson, and Bob Epstein. And then we've honored this evening with the Aliyot, people that we don't often get in terms of at services, but who have been an important part of staying connected through our virtual community. And so we're going to have Lori Schlissman and Leslie Schillender and Lydia and Zisel Sansovitz, who are going to actually recite the blessings. So Chaz, how are we going to call forward our first Aliyah? Up, you're on, yeah.
Ya'amdu. I have no idea.
The Hebrew names. Do you have the Hebrew names in front of you, Kazanstein, on the?
Oh, do I?
You do.
Oh, I do. No, I just have Lori. No. I just have Lori. Okay.
Yeah, Lori's coming up for the Aliyah.
Okay. Oh, Ya Ta'amod Leah bat Avraham v'Sara Rishon.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamavarav.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarav Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'zot habracha asher berach Moshe isha Elohim et bnei Yisrael lifnei moto vayomer Adonai Ophia mehar param v'ata meribuvot kodesh Mimino Eshtat Lamo Afrovevamim Kol Kedosha Beyadecha Vechem Tukul Raglecha Yisa Midabrotecha Torah Sivalanu Moshe Morasha Kihilat Yaakov Vihi Bishurun Melech Vehit Asef Roshei Am Yachad Shivtei Yisrael Yehi Reuven Ve'al Yamot Yehi Metab Mispar Vizod Lihuda Vayomar Shema Adonai Kol Yehuda Ve'el Amot Ve'enu Yadav Rahav Lo Be'ezer Mitzarav Tiyeh.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chaye Olam Natan Betochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
We'll call up now, Chazan Stein will
Yes.
call up our second Aliyah, Leslie Schillender.
תעמוד, תעמוד טובה בת חנה שני.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamborach.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ulavi amar tumecha be'urecha leish hasidecha asher nisito b'masa teribehu al memoriva haomer le'avi u'imo lo re'itiv be'et echav lo hikir be'et banav lo yada ki shameru imrotecha B'toratecha yimsoru, yoru mishpatecha leYaakov, b'toratecha leYisrael, yasimu ketorah be'apecha, b'chalil al mizbechecha, barech Adonai helo, ufo yada, tirtzet, michatz motnaim kam av, san av min yikumun, Levin Yamin Amar Yedi Adonai Yishkon Lav Techa Alav Chofech Alav Kol Hayom Uvkein Kitefav Shachein.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Call forward now, Lydia Zissel.
יעמדו לאה בת אריה והדסה וזיסול בן ישעיהו וגולדי שלישי.
Baruch Adonai hamborach.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Yosef Amar Mevarechet Adonai Artso Mimeged Shamayim Mital Umitehom Rovetzet Tachat Umimeged Tivuot Shamish Umimeged Gerish Yerachim Umerosh Havere Kedem Umimeged Givot Olam Umimeged Eretz Umloa Ortson Shocheni Sene Tavota Lerosh Yosef Ulkot Ko Nezir Chav Bechor Shoro Hadalo Vikarne Ra'im Karnav Bahem Amim Yanagach Yachdav Afse Aretz Vehem Revevot Ephraim Vehem Alfei Menashe.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yacher Koach to Monica, who read from the Torah. That was not Bob in costume. Could have been based on usual Purim plays. Thank you, Monica. We're glad that you're able to join us this evening as well. We're going to continue now with the Chatzi Kaddish, page 327.
Yitkara v'yitkara shemei rabba b'yama difra chirute v'yamlik malchute v'chayechon v'yamechon u'chayedecho beit Yisrael bagala uvizman kariv v'imru amen yehi shmei rabba mevarach La'alam la'me'amaya yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitshimam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalav Shemei kudusha berichu La'elam mikol berchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran ve'alma Ve'imru, amen.
Kiddush. Chazan Stein, you're going to lead us Kiddush. Page 79, those if you wish to follow.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol am, ורוממנו מכל לשון, וקידשנו במצוותיו, ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה, מועדים לשמחה, חגים וזמנים לששון. את יום חג שמיני חג העצרת הזה, זמן שמחתנו מקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ומועדי קודשך בשמחה ובששון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש ישראל והזמנים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
If you have wine at home, if you haven't yet done Kiddush, you can drink some of the wine and fulfill that mitzvah. It's nice to be able to drink wine and call it a mitzvah at these moments like this. We're going to continue with our service with Aleinu, those of you who wish to rise, page 56.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו גויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שבונות השמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אינו, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשב אותה אל לבבך. Adonai כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
This moment of memorial with the mourners Kaddish, which you'll be able to find on 58. If you would like to recite Kaddish, you can unmute yourself and to be able to recite together. If you have the obligation, since I'm spotlighted, you won't be showing up, but you're welcome to join in the sacred community reciting these words. Those reciting Kaddish, join together with me, please. Yit gadal ve'yit kadash shemei rabbah, amen. Ve'alma divrach rutei ve'amlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael v'agala u'bizman kariv yimeru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach ve'olam umei umaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei lekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata ta'miran v'alma v'yimeru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya l'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'meru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'meru, amen. May God who establishes peace in the heavens grant peace and harmony for us, fellow of Israel, and all of humanity, as we say, amen. It's a pleasure to share. Those of you, we have a number of people on Zoom with us. We have others who are watching by YouTube and live streaming. And, the question always is, how do we do something different to be able to acknowledge these holidays that don't seem to work, to do identically that we would when we're together in the synagogue. And so I just want to acknowledge the clergy, Chazan San, Chazan Mimi, and Rabbi Galko, right, came together and try to think, how do we make Torah relevant, right? Dancing with the Torah, making it meaningful, to find something that feels like Torah to you, that connects you to it. We pray for better times. It's interesting, by the way, I don't, there's actually a blessing for the last time you're in the sukkah today. I didn't even clergy, I'm not even sure if you know this. It's actually a blessing for the last day to be in the sukkah, even though it's not a blessing. You don't recite L'Shev B'Sukkah. And what is the blessing, right? It is that we should be able to be in the sukkah together, and we say L'Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim. It's the idea that there should be a messianic, right, future and hope to be able to share together. And so that's what we think about. We look forward to a time when we can all be together again to this type of celebration, but we will be together tomorrow. Right, we're going to be joining. So those of you who have RSVP'd, if you haven't, I believe you can come as long as you show proof of vaccination. If you bring your card with you, it should be fine. And we're going to make sure that we keep safe. And I understand there might be a little bit of schnapps from a certain congregant who does a great etrog vodka. I'm not saying may wear tutu in the off season, but just saying that we'll look forward to that together. And then there's lots of adult education. I want you to look online that Rabbi Galko has arranged and put together in this program on Israel, and so much more that we have. So we're going to conclude our service. Let's do a little bit of a Chaim Hi or something together, and wishing all of you a Chag Sameach.
All right. We start with the word shalom, real simple. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. It's Chaim Hi מחזיקים ותומכיה, מאושר עץ חיים היא, למחזיקים בה ותומכיה, מאושר. שלום, 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 shalom, shalom. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it. All of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it. All of its supporters are happy. One last time, here we go. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, 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 shalom.